Alright boys, my name is Spinky, and this is the Banshee. A strong, defendable, and progressive base that's packed full of features to increase cost and quality of life. It has the perfect room for 6 men, kinda like your mum's batty, and the cost and upkeep is easily manageable for even a smaller group. Inside the base we've got 2 armoured roof bunkers, endless amounts of box space, a well guarded and accessible inner TC, plus 2 external TCs that cover the entire base. As for defences, we've got a massive wide gap shooting floor that shows angles all the way around the base. Plus 4 sneaky roof peak ups that don't allow for any blind spots on the roof. Lastly, we have a floor of inner peaks. Not to mention this base is a perfect starter that you guys can slowly expand out of at your own pace. All of these amazing features packed into one base is realistically why the Banshee is what you're going to be building next wipe. And as for online protection, it can do that too. Alright, I can only apologise if you boys thought you were about to get an epic raid defense there, but nah. However, I can offer you boys a cheeky £5 of cash back when you go ahead and visit SkinsMonkey and use code SPINKY to start trading. Then from there you guys can start trading in your skins for ones you'd prefer. Then from there just select the skins you desire and the skins you're going to trade them for. And then it's as simple as accepting the trade, hitting confirm, and boom, you've got your skins. It's as easy as that. And before we jump into the tour of this video, quickly gotta say, sub if you're sound, join up the Discord if you need any help, make sure you like and comment on the video, and also I did recently upload a little solo story thing. It'd mean a lot if you guys could check it out. I know it's not going to get the same kind of attraction as the base builds, but I promise it is a good video and you guys should definitely check it out. With that said, let's jump on to the tour of the base. Hopefully you guys enjoy. We start this one off with a different external TC. This is not a Satori disconnectable because I'm fed up of using that one. Easy enough to disconnect, just break the ramp and it's no longer connected. Then we head through to a cool gatehouse that I've actually spotted on a few different bases. Not sure who came up with this one, but it's really good. It comes equipped with 2 peak ups that we can use to look into our compound, and there's 2 sneaky turrets underneath the gatehouse as well. From here we can see all the peaks that we would have on a radar inside the compound. You'll also spot a couple of turrets that are scattered around the base behind some chain link fences. Plenty of space for refineries, furnaces and anything else you might need inside the compound. And the base is completely symmetrical, divisible by 2, which means we've got 2 external TCs and 2 halves to the shell of the base. Heading inside the front door we can go all the way through to shell, or we have a mobility chute that we can also take. Our mobility chute has access to the peak downs and it also goes all the way up to shooting floor. Just a really quick way to get up and down from your base in the event of a raid. Again, you can see we have access to peaks from here as well. Heading into the shell, as you can see, we have got some space for deployables. You can put bags, furnaces, boxes, anything you need to scatter around the shell. 2 turrets cover most of the shell and they can also be used to jump up to peak down floor. Then we can head through the double door into our 2x3. Designed the main core of the space essentially like a 3x3. We've got space for loads of furnaces on the inside, spots for bags to go down, workbenches and a loot room. All of our jump ups are squares, which means it's good for the bigger groups that are going to be moving around a lot. You won't get in the way of each other too much. This will work as a nice starter, it's pretty open, defendable enough, and there's plenty of loot space. We've hidden the TC up on the 2nd floor. It's kind of obvious because we've armoured it, however that's completely optional. Heading up one more floor, this is the final section of the 2x3. In here I've got a little bit of a bedroom section with some more loot space. There's enough space for 4 beds here, however the other players that you don't really like can just get a bag. Again, lots of boxes beside the beds. These are the peak downs for the shell. They aren't amazingly stable because there wasn't a lot of options, however they're still going to work as good peak downs. Again, 2 turrets cover this entire floor as well. The bunker gaps are covered up nicely as well from below. If we head back inside the 2x3, we have a jump up leading up to our bunker floor. This is where you guys will spend the majority of your time, store most of your loot here, and just generally be around in the base. On this floor we have 2 armoured bunkers that are completely gapless, 2 vending machines for storage, and 2 big ramp loot rooms as well. There's also quick access to the peak downs and quick access to the shooting floor, so it's really the perfect place to be. I'd recommend that everyone gets a bag inside this area. Potentially the greatest feature of the base is that the searchlights stick through the window, so you can operate the searchlight behind the safety of an armored glass window. This is super effective for everything, and it's the most OP part of the base. We've also got our batteries spread around the opposite sides of the base, so if they do get one side, you'll still have power to your turrets. Beside our jump up, we have a garage door that leads to some door peaks. These are not going to be the most stable things, you might not use them that often, but it does just create more angles. You can also use these points to retake your shooting floor, because there's a ramp in between. Heading back through, you'll see more jump ups and the access through to our wide gap shooting floor. The shooting floor has been split up, but it's still easy to run around. This just makes sure that you don't lose your entire shooting floor during a raid. The wide gaps are accompanied by endless angles because you can go all the way far back, or as close as you want to look down. Plus we have 4 roof peaks that are great. We use a roof ramp so you can actually strafe on these, and they provide all the angles that you need on the roof. This is the ladder hatch again, just to remind you, this is where the mobility chute ends. You can come all the way from the front door and back up again. Heading back into the core of this floor, we're going to head up the jump ups to our roof. The roof has got a minicopter hangar and 2 vending machines that you can access via drones. Sell whatever you want here just to make a little bit of extra sulfur or scrap or whatever you need. They're not overly defended, however your roof's got turrets and hopefully no one's going to land up here. On top of the base, we have used different heights of roof slants so that you have some angles on raiders. 4 turrets cover the roof perfectly and they're all spread out evenly. Lastly, we've got 2 hexagons where you can land a minicopter, hopefully you're able to do that. And then you've got a minicopter hangar where you can store your minis overnight. That's basically all the features of the base. I know there was a lot. My favorite part is still the searchlight because that's just endless uses you could do for that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the tour. We're going to go ahead and move on now. Stick around if you want to know how to build the base. First of all, this is what you're going to need to build the entire base. That includes everything that you just saw on the tour. So keep in mind that's all the deployables, doors, code locks, everything. Second up is the box amounts, and this is everything you're going to need to build the base. However, it's simplified into box amounts so you can visualize a little bit more what you need to farm. And lastly, this is the total upkeep that we're going to spread between 3 TCs. That's 1 main TC and 2 externals with wide gaps. Hopefully we can agree those costs are pretty manageable for a 6-man. Before we move on to how to build the base, I'll quickly show you guys the footprint. Take a screenshot of this if you need. Keep in mind that you'll need this much space to build the base. And let's jump on to the build tutorial. We're going to start the base off with a 2x3 footprint. On the right hand side, we're going to place a door and then surround the rest of the bottom floor in walls. I'm sure you remember from the tour, we've got the furnace room, the lit room and the jump up. I recommend you stick some ramps in the loot room just for extra honeycombing. And remember to place your boxes in before the window. Then we're going to place a ceiling on top of this floor. Of course, leave out this square as it's our jump up. Our TC is going to be placed on the second floor across from the jump up on this square. Wall in this square and place your TC in the back right corner. Then on this floor we've got a jump up, another jump up and our TC. Then the back side of this floor can just be filled in with walls. Then a couple of door frames down the middle. Then just place in all the deployables for this floor as well. And cap it off with the ceiling. This floor is going to be a little bit different. We're going to use low walls in some parts. Make sure you do not place any full walls where I have placed low walls or you'll mess up the base. This 1x2 is the only thing you can fill in on this floor with full walls. Everything else is going to be low in half. Then you can build a jump up in the middle. This is the section with the bedrooms and the 2 loot rooms on each side. Then you can add a ceiling on top of this square and leave the rest. You can't really use these bedrooms until the entire shell's been built, so just hold on for that. This is about as far as we can take the 2x3. We're going to need to start expanding using multi-TC now. To expand the footprint, we're going to come to our front door side and place in a couple of triangles. You can break these extra too. And this is the side where our turret jump up is. To expand the footprint, we're going to place 2 squares. Then we're going to use the squares to place a couple of triangles, and then we can break the squares. Wall in the section for your turret, and place in the walls for the shell. Leave a roof off of this because we're going to add a ladder hatch heading up to the peaks. Right now this bit is going to decay, so just place a couple of frames. And then repeat this on the opposite side. Now these two sides of the bases are going to be a little bit more complicated. We're going to use multi-TC to create the rest of the shell. And you can start by bringing out some triangles. Delete these 3 because we don't need them. And we're going to multi-TC using 7 squares. After the 7th square, we'll cap it off with a triangle. And we'll break the 7 squares and the triangle at that end. Then we're going to build back in triangle half moon formations until we make a hexagon with the base. And this little section here is what I meant by a hexagon with the base. Next we can use a square and a triangle on each side to connect the entire shell. You want to have a gap in between these 2 triangles here. Once you've done that, we'll connect all the foundations by adding some walls and windows. Then just slap a door frame in the center. Now we'll build the exact same thing on the opposite side of the base. And just like that, we've got all the shell completed. However, these 2 sections with our front door are going to be decaying, so let's connect those to an external TC. If you'd like to have what I had in the tour, then just copy me exactly. We're going to start out by placing 3 squares. We're going to break the first 2 and add a frame on top of this one. Then just join them both together with floor frames. Now we can add an external TC to this square and connect everything. This little section that we just made is going to be our gatehouse. You'll remember that these spots under here are for turrets, and we've got nice peek ups into the compound. To finish it off, we'll add in 2 more squares. And that's the external TC that I showed in the tour. To connect everything, we're going to add in some ramps. This one's going to stay twigs, so we can disconnect it at some point if we need to. And you'll keep this one upgraded and make sure you break the foundation underneath. And that's our external TC, that's our gatehouse, and this is the connection to the shell. We're going to replicate all of that onto the opposite side now. Next, come back over to your entrance and we'll build the mobility chutes. Start with a single door and a wall. Then we can add a jump up in this side, with some door frames in between. Then let's just raise it up. And we're also going to add some frames inside the shell. And then close up the gaps. We'll need another jump up. And a couple more frames. At this point, this is the height of the peak downs, so we're going to add in a door to access those. Then a wall on the side and a jump up to continue going higher. Then in the middle, we're going to do a half wall and a window, with one more wall to the side. And again, door frames in between. Cap it off with the ceiling, leaving out the jump up. This is as much as we need to build just now. We're going to replicate this on the opposite side of the base. And that's me replicated the airlock on the opposite side. Now we've got some massive gaps over this side of the base, so we're going to work on those. This section is going to be our turret jump up, remember, so we'll start on that. Just raise the chute up one more. Then slap a ladder hatch frame right at the top. And same again. In between we'll add walls and raise those up too. Just like that. I'm sure at this point you're noticing some pretty hefty gaps. We're going to go ahead and fix those now. On this triangle here next to your turret chute, we're going to add in frames. Do not place anything on top of this triangle, however, because you will break the wide gaps. And that's how the base should look with all the frames just filled in now. Next we can jump up to our peak downs floor and start building our peaks. For starters, we're going to add 3 triangles on top of the frames and we're going to have a gap in between. Just like that. Then on the sides we'll place in more triangles. And in the middle a square. Then just repeat the steps all the way around. And that's what the base should look like so far. Next, let's continue to raise everything up. So just raise everything up like this and have a spot for your turrets as well. Once that's done, we're going to add a floor on top of this whole section. Make sure you build the floor the same as me because it could get confusing. Start by placing 6 triangles off of our 1x2. Then we'll connect those with squares at the opposite sides. And in between we're going to place our triangles the same as below. All 3 connecting, and a gap down this side. Beside the squares we can add in our triangles. And on this section we're going to place frames hugging towards our core. And then we'll place squares pushing away. If you've done that right, then the square should have more stability than the frame. And that's what the roof should look like at this point. This section will be the bunker area with our mini open core. Start again by raising everything up, including the frames. On this open triangle, we're going to add frames as well, and then place our awesome siren light. Place 2 frames and a window. I just realized I meant to say searchlight, and in order to get it to peek through the window, we need to place the searchlight before the glass. And then you have a searchlight that you can use through the glass. How cool is that? Let's go back to the mobility chutes and finish those off. This section here is going to be a locker, we'll have a ladder hatch above us, and walls around. Don't forget a window in the middle again. Then you can throw a locker in here. And we need a ladder hatch above. And just make that on the opposite side. Now that those are out of the way, let's get working on the bunkers. Add walls all the way around the rest of the floor. Start building your bunkers by placing a soft side wall facing this way. Then hop inside the 3 triangles and place in your other 2 walls. These walls are going to be soft side in this way. Next we're going to place a half-height shelf in the side. And we can break our half-height floor and place it in a frame. This frame is going to be rotated to activate the conditional and cover up any gaps. As you can see, the conditional has been activated, and in order for it to work, this wall, in order for it to work, this wall needs to be the same upgrade as this wall. So you can see if I upgrade this one to metal, and this stays stone, then it doesn't work. And if we upgrade this to metal as well, the wall activates its conditional. On this side we have a massive gap as well, and we need to activate a conditional to fix that. We're going to place a frame on here and rotate it. You can see that activates the conditional and covers up the gap. Again, this frame needs to be the same upgrade as this wall. And in order to efficiently cover up the gap, the best thing you can do is armor them both. As for the ceiling of the bunker, we can add our triangle in here, then a triangle clipped over to our soft side wall, leaving a small gap here that's covered by the frame. Then the final triangle is going to be clipped to this triangle here, making sure we have a gap down this side. If you've done that correctly, your bunker wall will open. And then we'll just build the exact same bunker on this side. These two ramps need to be placed from underneath inside peaks, and we're going to leave them there so we know where our bunkers open at. The remaining two squares are going to be our loot rooms. You can see we've got a small gap here, but we can fix that by rotating this wall to soft side. Then we can build a loot room in this open square. Same again on this side, cover the gap, and build a loot room. Beside each of our bunkers, we're going to throw down a battery. You need to break the ramp before you can place it in, and then just seal it off with a window. Opposite our battery is going to be our jump up, and it can get a door frame along with another door frame. And then just repeat that over here. Don't forget, in the middle of your two bunkers, we're going to add in a spot for vending machines. Once your vending machines are down, place some frames in between. That's where the vending machines go. I'm just going to break them though because they're kind of noisy. And this is what this floor should be looking like. We'll go ahead and add a ceiling on top of this. For the 1x2, super simple, just place in your two squares. Then surround them with 3 triangles on each side. And we can place a square and a triangle on each side again. Add a roof over your battery. And of course leave your jump up open. Beside our ramps, we're going to need to place a roof clipping to this side. If we were to do it on this side, you can see we'll break the bunker. So make sure you give a floor connected to the triangle. And as you can see, the bunker stays open. Beside our loot rooms though, we can cover up the gaps with frames, so just feel free to do that. And boom, that's what the roof looks like for this floor. Next up, we're going to be working on the shooting floor. In order to do that, we need to get down our white gaps. We've already done the first part, so it's super simple. Come to your external TC and see where you broke the squares. We're going to add in triangles. From that point, we're going to do square, triangle. And you can break the squares. Same again over here. And that's what our wide gap foundations are going to be. Now you can add frames along those and raise them up to the same height as our other frames. And once we've built that, we can replicate it onto the opposite side. And those are going to be all the frames that you'll need for the shooting floor. From your jump up, we're going to run forward and place a half wall. Then you can throw a window on top. And that is going to be our roof peak up. You can do the exact same thing right here as well. Remember, we have 4 of them in total. Just like that. It's super easy to forget, so I'm just making sure we do this first. In between our 2 roof peak ups, we're going to add in a door, accompanied by 2 triangle floors. Across from our jump up, we can do another battery. and our jump up can just get walled in. Then you can place a floor in the middle and a roof on top. And exactly the same thing over here, and onto the wide gap sides. Two doors and two walls, super basic. Hopefully this doesn't need to be said, but I'll just say it in case. Do not place anything above your bunker wall, or else you will break it. Adding in a door frame up here might seem like a good idea, but you'll ruin your bunker, so do not do it. Now we're going to add in a couple of jump ups and some more door frames to finish off this floor. And that's the full layout for this floor. Go ahead and add a roof on top. We're going to match the roof the same as below. A gap down this side, frames towards the core. And that's the roof for this section. Let's place in our floors for the shooting floor. And that's how everything should look so far. Once you've got that down, line the perimeter with windows. On top of our half-height window, we can just add in a half wall. Now that the shooting floor is made, we're going to add in our roof peak ups. From your jump up, we're going to come over to the door peak section and place in a couple of roofs. Underneath each roof, we can add in a door frame. Then a double door to create our door peak. You can stand on top of these door peaks if you want, but if you crouch, you'll fall through. Then just throw a ceiling on top. Exact same thing over here. Then come in front of the door peaks and we can add in a frame and two half walls. And then just make that 3 more times. That's the 4 roof peak ups made. Add in a couple more frames and then we'll finish off the shooting floor. That should be all the stability we need. Now just add in some roofs. Okay, we're in the final stages of the base now. We're going to build 2 external airlocks to take us out onto our roof. Don't forget we're going to do windows, doors and vending machines. Then walls down the center, away from our minicopter hangar. Then just throw a ceiling on top. That's the deployables for this bit, just in case you forgot. And then once you've done that, just replicate it on the opposite side. In the center, we're going to have a minicopter hangar. And you can have the door face wherever you want, just keep in mind it's where you're going to fly into. In between your roof peak ups, we're going to add in 1 final peak. You can place a barricade in here to get some better angles. And then we're going to throw a windmill tower on top. And replicate it on this side too. Now we're going to cap off the base with the roof ramps. Okay, one's on top and one's on top of our roof peaks. And then once you've done that, that completes the base design. Hopefully you boys did enjoy this video and hopefully you're a fan of the base. I really hope to see this one out there in some servers because this is actually a bang, to be honest with you. For the beginners who watch these videos, I really think you can build this one as well. I went as slow as I could with this one and I hope it's easy to follow. Please remember to leave a like on this video and drop me a sub if you can. Super close to 10k, so it'd be nice to hit that. Remember to check out SkinsMonkey down below using my link, and I'll see you boys in the next video.